Yeah.
Hi, yeah,
Hi, Siddhant. How are you?
good, good. So glad. It's such an honor to have you with us today. And it's so nice. You've been an icon in the fitness industry, and you've been in the fitness field for so long. And I'm so glad that you took out some time from your busy schedule to do this candid chat with me.
No,
So
it's my privilege and honor to be here with you. And of course, anything to do with fitness which can inspire even one person who listens to me, for me, it's the greatest satisfaction. So, very well worth it. Thank you.
great, great. So Yash, so before we start, I wanted to ask you one thing.
Yeah.
How does fitness, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, how does it manifest in your daily life? And, was it a big manifestation when it comes to your work life as well? How did you get into this journey?
So I think Siddhant, this is a very common question everybody asks, and I think the point is if we decide to do something, we decide to brush our teeth, which is the healthiest thing for our teeth to do. You have to do it. You just do it, even however boring or kind of monotonous it may sound. You have to have a bath. You have to have a bath. There's everything in life which we make it as a habit, which is important for us. We find time to do. So there's no reason why you cannot find time for physical fitness and mental fitness. Like how you have to brush your teeth and polish them, you like that you have to polish your mind, body, and soul. So it is something which is very necessary. And during our conversation, obviously, we'll go on to those areas where how this part is as necessary as anything else we do in life. And time will always come up. And then also you have priorities that if you really don't find the time to get a workout there, so if I'm doing this, which is important to me, this podcast with you. But of course, if I really didn't find time, I would prioritize my schedule and do this
Okay.
because it's meaningful. I would not go on Instagram and watch people or
Right.
chat or whatever, and I'll do this because it's inspiring even one person. That's more meaningful for me. So that's how
True
life goes.
that.
I feel. Yeah.
I completely agree with you, Yash, because even I reversed my type 2 diabetes, and I also try to tell people, that if you can be committed to yourself and your fitness journey, nothing is impossible in life. So very well said what you said.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to ask you, like for your daily diet,
Yeah.
like do you like for a regular daily meal, or do you have a lot of dietary changes to the lifestyle that you live for you to be physically fit?
Uh, no, see, basically, I'm a pure vegetarian and I don't have egg also. That's
Okay,
purely for, it's nothing religious, it's something spiritual. I do feel that
okay,
for my spiritual evolution, that's very necessary. So I've always been pure vegetarian. I used to have eggs at some point of time because I used to feel it is necessary, but I've left it like 24 years ago. And
okay,
it has not impaired my bodybuilding ambitions at all. In fact, I only feel I've improved over the years. So now I have, of course, milk products, and I have to get enough protein because if you're pushing weights, your body is breaking down, and to build it, you need protein. But
right,
please understand, there's no specific rule because everybody's body is different. So when they say that many grams of protein, it's just a guideline. It's what
right,
suits you. Each person has to see and alter their diet that way. In another way, vegetarian food has enough of natural proteins. So contrary to
right,
belief, like dal chawal, if you mix the two,
right.
is a complete amino acid profile. So you can
Okay,
have a better version of brown rice, red rice, black rice if you really want to increase your
got
fiber.
it.
But the protein is there in all types of rice.
Okay,
So in weight training, bodybuilding, maybe you have to just increase the protein a little bit, but it's not
right.
something which is also like a hard and fast rule. You can always maneuver around it.
Okay, that's really truly said. I think nothing like home food, as we say,
Yeah.
and I think it probably caters to every kind of nutrients which our body probably requires. So
Yeah.
really well said. Also, I believe that you've written a new book, okay, as well as you've launched your own gym, which is I believe is a 360-degree cycle to mind, body, and wellness. So, can you share a little bit light on that, if it's okay?
Yeah, so this book basically is only about fitness. What happened is that with Miss Shobha Day, who's a very famous
Right.
writer and author, she had long back told me to write a book on fitness, which I started
Okay.
with her. But then, as I talk a lot, which you might have made out now, I started talking about a lot of things to do intrinsically with fitness. So she diverted a book purely on fitness to a more like a biography. So my first book was a biography called On a Prayer, which has a lot to do with my spiritual views in my life and instances from my life. Then I had this whole material of a fitness book ready, including a photograph session with top photographer, which was just in the camp. So I said, what do I do with this, Shobhaji? So she said, you come out with another fitness book just for fitness only. And that's how it came, the fitness book which I have now. It basically tells how you can have with basic exercises, nothing fancy, basic equipment, again, nothing fancy, or even if you don't have equipment, you can have a fit and decent body, which we call a gym trained body. So it's to do with that. Then it's a lot to do with my diet. Of course, as I said, I believe in vegetarian, but also sattvic food, right? So it's a little bit linked to spirituality. We have different types of food even in vegetarian. So if you have vegetarian food which is processed, which has additives, preservatives, chemicals, then that isn't so healthy for you. But if it is natural, wholesome, live food, cooked at home, like we say, from fresh vegetables and fresh grains, then it becomes sattvic. And a sattvic food will help you assimilate better your nutrition for your body, but also help your mind because our brain cells are also made up of food, and the type of food we eat affects the type of quality of brain cells and ultimately the thought process. So
True.
that's why in a scripture like the Bhagavad Gita, they say that every food you eat has a corresponding effect on your mind, thinking, and behavior.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I believe that a sattvic food, basically vegetarian, less preservatives, not basically from cans and boxes and processed food, made freshly at home, is the best diet to follow.
Okay.
And
So
that
do
is
you?
all in this
Okay.
book, which you talked about. The gym, basically, yes, I love gymming. I have to admit, it's my primary form of exercise. But again, only pushing weights is not going to give you overall fitness. So, as you see, there is something. Okay, let's say I'm very stressed, so I have something releasing called cortisol. You're very well aware of it, being
Yeah.
an expert in all this. So, cortisol is actually going to break down my muscle because my stress, my anxiety. So
True.
I need to keep my mind fit also. So I need to do pranayam and meditation so that I can deal with, we all have stresses in our day-to-day life. As long as I can deal with it, with these things, which are like, to me, they're a magic tool. Because if I'm really stressed, I go and do some pranayam, kriya, meditation. I come out feeling rejuvenated.
Right.
The same thing with the gym. A lot of times to go to the gym, you feel lethargic, or you feel,
Yeah.
oh, I've had a long day, or I've got a lot of worries, and I can't go to the gym. And I feel like that as well. It's not that I don't feel like that. The difference is once you go to the gym and you start working out, and like 15, 20 minutes down the road, you just feel like a smile appears on your face.
Right.
And then when you come out of the gym, you're like that,
Yeah. True.
which is totally different from how I went in. So I know the benefits which are gym training and which with pranayam, meditation, natural food, it's all integrated. And if you make this a part of what you said, 360-degree wellness, then
Right.
everything prospers
True.
and everything seems so much better.
True. True. Whatever you're saying is like something like it's so much to learn. You've been in this field for so long, and if our viewers can even take a little bit out of the learnings, it can just change someone's life. So it's really nice that you are giving
I'm
these kind
sure
of
you
input.
can do. I'm sure you can do that with your talks and your knowledge. But of course, I can add value in some way.
Yes, of
Happy to
course.
do.
Right, right. So another thing I want to ask you, Yash, is first of all about the health awareness. Don't you think it should be a part of our India's educational institutions all over the country? Don't you think this should be in their curriculum, or what are your views on this in terms of
So I definitely feel you start young, and unfortunately, our education system is governed by a lot of external factors,
right,
which we had, of course, very good portions of the British rule, and we came with a lot of good curriculum with the British rule we had in India. But somehow we lost our what I've been talking about, our spiritual, cultural heritage,
right,
and that has to be, and which includes health and fitness integrated, has to be imbibed from a very young age. So, we used to have those gurukuls earlier,
right.
which everybody is aware of. So,
Yes,
you used to be trained in all the physical fitness, whether in those days was archery, wrestling, acrobatics. It used to be all taught in the Gurukul. And then you used to also learn the Ved Shastras, and you used to learn how to be a perfect kinsman or a king or a citizen, and everything was integrated. Now, what we have done today, we made it more like a bookish knowledge. So, in fact, we as a group, we have about 140 schools around the country called Birla Open Minds.
Okay.
And what I've tried to do there is bring all this back in, right? And I've also developed our own subject called soul science. Soul science is something how you integrate what I was just talking to you about, your
Yeah.
spiritual ethics, along with how to practically use it in your day-to-day life,
Got
right?
it.
So I really believe, in answer to your question, that your training of giving you the importance of physical fitness, mental fitness, and spiritual enlightenment or pursuit of enlightenment should start at a very, very early age, as young as 6 or 7.
Oh,
That's the time when you
okay.
actually start, your mind starts formulating, and it has to be imbibed into you from that age, because then after that, the mind keeps questioning. In the beginning,
Right.
what it's used to, it just
Right.
progresses.
So another thing, Yash, I want to ask you basically, so people who do not have resources, you know,
Yeah.
how can they become physically fit or live a healthy life or a long, they can increase their longevity of life? You know, people who do not have kind of resources, what probably you and me have. So what are your suggestions and your views on that?
So see, there are. I can do a whole workout of gym training on a beach with
Okay.
stones and pebbles and push-ups and something, and you can also do like a with stones a
Yeah.
bicep curl. You can do laterals, and the very
Okay.
innovative ways of to do a workout. It's very basically needed. Maybe you can't become a bodybuilder, but you can
Yeah.
definitely have a good fit body in any natural surroundings. It could be in a village, it could be in a town, it could be anywhere. Um, and again, coming back to the same thing, your prana is free. The air around is free. So pranayam doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
Meditation doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
So 360-degree fitness, as I call it, is not an expensive lifestyle.
Okay.
It's good for everybody.
And
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 of course, I've only talked about weight training, but there are a lot of other things in physical fitness. Yoga, again, cost free. Walking, taking a walk with nature, very healthy for your body, very healthy for your mind. What we call cardiovascular now, we can run in the gymnasium and we can go on a treadmill, but you can do the same thing in a forest.
right.
So, in fact, the more the natural or more non-metropolitan surroundings you have, that fitness is much more productive than in Bombay City, where you're going out and you walk in this pollution and this cars. Instead of that, you're living in a village. Imagine how beautiful it is.
Right. So
So it's
basically, the bottom
actually
line.
inversely proportionate to material progress.
Right.
The lesser you are, you can enjoy a much fitter life with all these kind of excursion and outdoor
Right.
activities.
And so basically, we all need to just be mobile. I think our life, we just need to be mobile. It doesn't matter if it's a park or a gym. I think we kind of walk and we can probably get us, just be mobile in terms of our fitness. And I think that is good enough, I feel, for everybody. Instead
Yeah,
of just being, yeah,
very true. So, you even if I'm, let's say, I mean, it's difficult to have this interview,
yeah,
but if I'm talking on the phone, I can
right,
keep pacing up and down this room. And that
right,
also is a part of, because we are always sitting on, let's say we are and work
yeah,
in an office chair the whole day. So we're just sitting. So there's something in your mobile app where you can measure the steps you take. And
yeah,
nowadays they just say it
right,
estimatedly 10,000 steps a day is healthy, right?
correct, yes,
So
correct,
you
yeah,
just keep monitoring and start moving towards that. By when you're talking on the phone, keep walking up and down. Sometimes have a
right, right.
meeting walking somewhere. So there are a lot of creative ways to do this. And after COVID, I think a lot of things are welcome. It's not strictly that office culture where you have to be in a particular way, sitting in a particular environment. As long as you're creatively contributing, there's a lot you can do. And I think the mind works much better as well.
Yeah, I think COVID has taught us, because the immunity is something I think we all need to build. And if we can just do the basics right, I think it'll just help in terms of our immunity system, because there are so many diseases all over the world, spreading. It also can be regarding to technologies, the radiations we get, with different kind of technologies always advancing. But I think that, yeah, what you rightly said, you can just keep walking around or, just be more mobile, in terms of getting a step tracker and, just tracking your steps down. So, very, very rightly said, Yash. Also, Yash, tell me something. So, the kind of magnitude your business demands, physically fit as well as mentally fit, as you said, do you think even music, also, you think music therapy really works in terms of keeping your mental balance and sanity, and, also help in terms of progressing in terms of your workspace as well? So you want to share some
That's
light on that?
definitely correct. So you have one side is your analytical mind, which is basically
Right,
your business mind. Then you have a
right,
creative mind.
right.
So it's very necessary you balance the two out for your steady progress. So the creative mind is basically art, music, your passions, which you must give time to. Music by itself is again then all our traditions and scriptures. So there was the Ras Leela of Krishna in the
Right,
Bhagavad Purana. There
right.
is a Tandava of Shiva. So that's all music and dance. I love certain genre of music, not all.
Okay,
Surprisingly, I love Indian bhajans, which is
okay,
chanting, but like in a very upbeat way. And I love techno music, which is
okay,
progressive techno. So which kinds of build up to a rhythm and a beat. And I love sometimes going dancing to these kind of techno beats where you just merge with the sound and the surroundings and just lose yourself
okay.
in a nice way, because I don't drink and I don't
Right,
smoke, and
right,
those are things
right.
which I completely abstain from, never tried it. But for me, the music mix is more than any high which people try and achieve when they go out. So
Got it.
music and so certain chants which I love of bhajans and certain Sanskrit shlokas. Even when I'm like a little negative in my thinking, I just put those on, and my whole kind of thought process kind of metamorphizes into something which is better, something which is happier, I guess.
Yeah, that's truly said, because I think even if you're like at work, if you can just put like a nature's tune or an instrument, I think your subconscious mind or your stress levels really reduce, and it helps you, I think, in terms of focusing much more as well. What it really helped me. So I think music is a really beautiful thing God has gifted all of us. So yes.
Yeah, and it could be any
Yash,
music according to your personality. You like Indian
right.
classical, Western classical, you like hip hop. A lot of people. It depends person to person. It's your vibration which has to kind of agree with the music. But whatever music you love is 100% very contributory to your every kind of progression.
It's Yash, I want to just ask you one more question before we end the session. If you had to give a message to the youth of today, a very strong and impactful message where, how health and fitness is, as well as your mental awareness, will plays a really important in terms of their own personal growth. What would that message be?
So, for the youth, especially because we are living in such an environment today, which is it's a social media, like we are on it. The world is one whole community. It's not like when we were in school, it was just the area and our school friends, which were school children, which were our friends. Now the world is your friend. I can connect with somebody in Greenland or California and talk to him or her every day. So obviously, there's much more comparison between people, and there will always be a little more kind of subconscious feeling that we could be better, right?
Right, right,
uh, I would suggest that you are your own judge and never compare yourself with anybody, but whatever you are, excel in that area the best you can be. And that is only possible with what we just spoke about: mental and physical well being, healthiness, or fitness, whatever you want to call it. And all integrated in whatever way it suits you into one. Because that's only when you really flourish as an individual. And basically, that way you have to feel complete within yourself rather than searching for validation from somebody externally, which is what most people do today. The other thing the youth don't, I think, is the most important thing for fitness is be consistent. I see
right. Right.
So consistency is the most important thing for youngsters, which they forget, because everything is seems to be sometimes like a yo-yo. It's done too much or not done at all. So, for
You
example,
know,
I started working out when I was 22,
okay,
and decades down, I'm still at it at the same frequency, at the same intensity. It unless I'm not well, God forbid, it never goes away.
right. But what you said is truly true, because I see a lot of even my friends and people who I know, they go to nutritionists, they follow a certain diet, but they don't do consistently, and then they blame the nutritionist that it was not good.
Yeah.
So I think that everything what you do, you should have a strong willpower. Number one, I think the willpower should be really strong and be focused in whatever you're doing. You want to be the change, so you need to bring the change amongst yourself first. And I feel that, consistency, as you said, consistency and willpower go together, I feel. And I think if one can do that, I think, yeah, they will see results for sure, because, yeah, so thank you so much, Yash. It is so nice of you
Thank
to give your time and, giving these inputs. It really at least inspired me, in terms of my fitness journey and a wellness journey which I follow. And, these few tips which you have given me, it'll always add that extra value in terms of leading a more meaningful life. And, so thank you so much for giving this time to me.
No, that's your kindness that you say all this, because I know you know this and more, and you can contribute to your viewers and to me and my knowledge a lot. But I'm very grateful that you say it with so much humility, and I'm really happy to contribute in any way I could, and really look forward to seeing you soon again.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yash.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.